right, intro checked. Didn't miss that one up. Hello, everybody. Hello, Central Mafia. Keith, Aaron, how you guys
Good
doing?
afternoon. Good.
All
How's
right,
it going?
it is going well.
Excellent, excellent.
Short week. It was short for me last week too. Took some couple of days off too, so that was nice. Not to relax, but you know what? I didn't tell my wife I was taking time off.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody, when I was leaving, was questioning. It's like, "Are you sure you're doing that?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure. I'll get the honeydews when I
Yeah.
break the news." So, uh, oh, good. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to another live stream of the Central Mafia. Let's go ahead and take care of the housekeeping items here. With us today, we have Keith and Aaron, who will be hosting the session today. I am driving the live stream, so once we're done with this, I'll go backstage and sit back and learn. For those of you that don't know you, Keith, why don't you just tell us, do your intro here real quick?
Well, I own a small ISP out here on the West Coast, known mostly for automating the West Coast shipping ports, and been in the business. We've had Vistum since 1999, so I guess I'm old, even though I don't look it.
Yep, been around for a minute.
Yeah.
And Aaron, how about you, buddy?
Hi, I'm Aaron. I was born yesterday, compared to Keith. Yeah, I'm Aaron. My business is Pumpkin Business Services, and we're basically an MSP for CPAs. But my company is shiny, new. You can still smell the new MSP tool that haven't quite been onboarded yet, that have just been purchased. But I've been doing this for 25 years, so yeah, happy to be here as always.
Awesome. All right. So for those of you who don't know us or first time watching the Central Mafia, we are an MSP community built for MSP by MSP. So we are all the, you see Keith and Aaron and all of our advisory council. We are all MSP partners that we want to bring MSPs together through education. So we want everybody to stay engaged through our different channels, through our in-person meetups. When you see us or reach us through all the different channels, LinkedIn, just make suggestions. Let us know what you want to hear, what you want to learn, and we'll make that happen. And at the same time, make sure you expand your network, because you always want to have that other person that you want to bounce ideas out of and be able to collaborate with each other. So ways to stay engaged, like I said, LinkedIn. You can find out what is happening with the community, where we're going to be, all of our different live streams, all the news. We just launched Facebook. It's probably a month old by now. We started at the we went live when we were in Anaheim last month when we launched this. So we appreciate if everybody will follow us, and also the Central Mafia group moved from Slack into Facebook. So if you go in there, you will have access to all that information, and we need those followers so we can live stream these into Facebook as well. So make sure that you click that follow button there so we can be on all those. So we also have our YouTube channel. This is being live streaming to YouTube as well, and is archived in YouTube. So if today you see something or hear something that you want to share, just go over there and you can just follow us there, and also share that with your colleagues and with your network. We have a nice cadence of activities happening. Open mics are back. There for a while, we kind of like stopped having those. We have it like once a month. Now we're having those every other week. So in between the live streams, we have open mics, and those are fantastic. We had one last week, and we were actually talking about all the different stacks and like how do you actually sell those additional products when you bring them into the stack. So it was a great conversation with the people that showed up, and I think Aaron, you hosted the previous one before that.
Yeah. Yeah,
and-
we lot of questions about needing help with you were there too, Keith, right? Yeah, like needing help in other markets. People are getting business that are taking them to outside their coverage area, and easier said than done as far as finding help. So, but a great place to talk about it, right? Connect and find others who can maybe help out or know other people.
Yeah, and those are hosted on via Teams.
On Teams, yeah.
Yep, and it's open mic. So basically, we're just getting there together and just talk whenever we want to. Whatever comes up, we'll have a good conversation. And then our live streams, again, they're every other week. Those are also on Thursdays, and same time for all of them, from 3 to 4 Eastern. The next one will be on June 11th, and we'll have Brad Gross as our guest speaker. And after that, we'll have FlexPoint will join us. We'll have Pivotal Crew come after that. And then we have Dave Alton joining us also as a partner on a partner live stream. So we have all those lined up here for the next couple of months. Again, every other Thursday, a live stream. Every other Thursday, we'll have an open mic. We also have a newsletter that goes out every single month. You like those pictures in there, Keith and Aaron? You guys were featured as the partner spotlight on the main newsletter. It just went out.
I did not sign a release form. So we need to talk about that.
You fill out the form. You fill out the form. So I think at the bottom,
shoot, you're right.
But all the updates, our vendor spotlight, all the community updates, get to know all of our different partners, information about the next meetup, all that is in there for you guys to get more information and also register.
And I look forward to Brad. He's our attorney, and he's negotiated some pretty big contracts with PMA and the unions.
Yes, we were in a call a couple of weeks ago in another group with different MSPs. There was a lot of MSPs. I was like, "Yep, Brad helped me with my MSA." So probably, if you're listening out there, if you have your MSA, probably Brad had some level of influence into those. Also, Central Mafia is hosting the Pitch It series for ConnectWise. So every Tuesday at 2 p.m., Sean Lardo and Nowinski are, your son. They're hosting the Pitch It series, which is the incubator program. The finalists have been announced. So from now until November, all the finalists are going to be there. So if you would like to learn more about the program or all the different vendors that are part of the program, be sure to join those. And those are also archived into our YouTube. So if you miss any, you can always go back and see those. We cannot make this possible without the support of our sponsors. So thank you so much. All of our meetups supporting this platform, being able to communicate in all the different activities cannot be possible without the support. So thank you to Infima for being a longtime supporter, Acronis, Threadlocker, Augment. I don't know what's going on, Augment. I apologize with your logo. It never wants to show up. So I'm going to have to do something about that. Pivotal Crew, Mubila, and FlexPoint. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure that you visit those vendors and learn more about them. And here in the future, we'll have all those again featured in one of these live streams. Okay. Next thing, the meetups. Or 2 meetups are coming up. First one will be in Chicago over in Burr Ridge, September 17th. Make sure you register. And my eyes are going the other way because I need to post. There you go. How do you sign up? So just go to our website, centralmafiaug.com. That's for Central Mafia User Group.com. And then you can register for all of our upcoming meetups. And then the next one will be in your neck of woods, Keith. Not so much for you, Aaron. You'll always come up and hang out, but it'll be October 8th. Same location. We're going to be over in Anaheim.
Oh, excellent.
And
Mere
beyond.
blocks from Disneyland. So
Yes.
yeah. Now we got to remember, a block is like 3 miles in Anaheim, but still, mere blocks.
You know what? I did realize that when I was one morning, I was like, I'm just gonna go and check Disney, and then I put it on my Google Maps. Like, that's not a block away.
Yeah, it looks like 3 blocks. 6 miles.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a while to get there, but yeah, very excited about the last one that we had. So we're bringing it back to Anaheim, and rumor has it that our pre-day might have something to do with Disney. So
right,
we're working on that. So
cool.
Again, just register and find out everything that is happening. We have it on our website, centralmafiaug.com. So all right, so enough of that. Let's see. I need to stop this. If we can make a bloopers out of Juan running the show, this will be the one. All right, so I'm just going to let that run for now, and I will introduce Juan and bring Juan into the stage real quick, and then I'll fix that. That's why I'm going backstage, so I can do this. So Juan, thank you so much for being here. Juan Fernandez is a longtime member of the Central Mafia. You were with us when we started this journey, supporting us. You were part of the initial advisory council.
Yeah.
This is probably like your third live stream. I think you're part of an open mic and a live stream. So if you do 5, you get a jacket.
Oh, okay. I'm ready.
So he's been a longtime Central Mafia member and supporter, great friend of the community, visionary, always helping partners and MSPs grow. Juan, you're always open to to give your suggestions and your knowledge that you bring. So very, very happy to have you here. So thank you, my friend, for being here with us.
Absolutely, brother. Anytime, man. This is a pleasure and an honor to be here with you and the legend Keith, the man Nelson, as well as Aaron here. So this is gonna be fun and exciting. I look forward to the chat.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to fix this. I'll go backstage and I'll let you guys have a chat.
All right.
Hey, Juan, it's always great to see you. You're so well known in the industry. You've helped so many MSPs, and we're kind of excited to hear about what you're doing now.
Well, I appreciate it, Keith, and thanks for having me, you guys. It's always a pleasure to come back. And I call myself a resident MSP as well, so I see the MSP for MSPs by MSPs, and it just warms my heart, man, to know that the community is still going strong and we still care about each other here. And thanks you guys for continuing to keep that torch lit. I know that it's easy to get caught up in our businesses and forget about, the other ones, but we got to be the change. And I appreciate you guys, making your contribution to being that change. So it's exciting, man. We're doing some fun stuff here. And, just like anything, I want to have a conversation a little bit today about the shift of, managed to modern, right? We launched a brand this year called MSP as a Service. And that was the transformational component of moving from, tools operations and problem operation as a service to business operation as a service. And, that's been a big talk track of mine for years, and trying to help folks trying to find that nuance. And so we decided to embark on that journey, and we've impacted the lives of many MSPs at this point. And I'm super excited to talk about it today.
That's interesting. It's something I've kind of advocated for a long time. I think the differentiating factor, there's so many people can broker services, so to speak, but it's really when you get involved with using and leveraging the technology and your expertise to complement and increase business outcomes for your clients. And that's a differentiating factor. And that moves us far away from these false ceilings of $300 per endpoint and all these things we come up with, because that's no longer the measuring stick.
Yeah.
The measuring stick becomes, what's the positive impact your services are bringing to your clients?
I got pretty hot on another show recently where they asked me the question, how do you feel about us becoming a commodity? And I said, I know where you want to go with this, but I'm not going to go there. And I said, I think that conversation, the commodity versus a value, is a decision. We can choose to be cheaper, or we can choose to be a value. You wake up every morning and making that decision. I have to do that in business every day. I can choose to be cheaper. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be valuable to my customer.
It's like I would. It's a good point. I would almost be like, and I know this is like controversial sometimes, but I feel like happiness is a choice, right?
Yes.
For the most part, like you choose to put things in your way that day or whatever to affect that. And it's that same thing where commoditization in the MSP space is a choice. It's like if you want to play that game, it's the path of less resistance.
Sure.
But it's obvious. But just like if you're going to sell things on Amazon or whatever, right? Anybody can do it, but you're now competing with everybody. And whereas if you're like if everything is value based, that will never be a commoditized in any vertical, right? I mean, that goes for any kind of business.
Our company motto has always been, in a world of Kmart's, let's be Nordstrom's.
Yeah.
And so it goes along with everyone talks about AI now, and I say AI too much, yourself out of business, because people are willing to pay for the experience, for the results, for the personalized service.
Yep.
And why do you go to Nordstrom's to buy a suit? Well, it's better quality, and they make you feel welcome. They have what you want. They take care of you. They get to know you. They don't, it becomes a relationship, and a long-term relationship.
And again, I've often, asked this question a number of times. When was the last time you walked into a car dealership and paid full price for anything, right? Like, you're always looking for this perceived value, which is, again, why we use the words incorrectly. So when we're looking at it in business, we assume value means cheaper. And that is a neural cortex mapping that has been mapped incorrectly. And I think that we need to be thinking about the new value equations. And that's where I, came up with the conversation about from managed to modern, right? We're managing infrastructure and problem operation. And now we're moving into a modern business operation as a service mannerism, where we're delivering new value, and the connection between us and our customer is the most important thing, and I think that value during this moment of change is change management, managing change through this moment of tumultuous timing, which is not just the technology piece, but now it's the new interjects and how business and technology are interlacing, right? So it's a new and fresh time. I think it's really interesting to watch, and I get to sit at the forefront because one of our primary objectives is to stimulate or re-stimulate the entrepreneurial ecosystem by giving everyone a stable platform to stand on to get to the next level, right? Like, I love watching new entrepreneurs come in and watching what they're creating. It's wild to see what they're doing with this new ability to stand on this box and look over the fence and say, oh, we see the future coming now. And it's like, for the rest of us that have our heads down, still, managing the machine, it's hard to see. And so this is why we're double clicking on it, man. And I look at the new value and I can see it, and it's refreshing to watch, man. I get excited about tech. I'm a tech nerd, right? Like we all are, right? We get excited about new tools and toys. And
it's funny you bring up the car analogy, because I just went through that with someone. I just bought a few cars, and
a few cars.
Three.
Dude, you get used to Keith's humble brags.
Yeah.
But in that process, someone said, "Did you really negotiate?" I said, "Yes, I negotiated for getting what I wanted." Price becomes immaterial.
Yeah.
Like when I just got the Silverado to haul the boat, the guy he comes in, he hooks it up to my boat trailer, sets up the thing in the Duramax, the stuff I don't want to do, and I go, "How much is that worth?" Would I rather have saved $1,000 and not had that level of service and had it delivered? No, and I think that's something. I think sometimes we reverse engineer for our customers.
Oh yeah.
They're not even asking us for, they go, oh, I cut the price. Did that topic even come up?
No.
Or did you just do that automatically because you think that's sales?
Yeah.
You're Cal Worthington and not really a service provider.
Right.
And I think it's the go-to. They're stumbling, you start cutting price. And when someone starts doing that to you, you just go, I'll let you keep cutting your price and I'll interrupt you when you get low enough. And it's really not what they're looking for. And you still never satisfy them. Because I tell people, if you buy a shirt at Kmart, in a week when it falls apart, you forgot that you saved money and you expected it to be as good as the one you would have paid full price at like a Nordstrom's or Saks.
Yeah.
And so that cheap price is easily forgotten when the service can't be there.
Well, and then again, I just feel like that's where people feel like they're going to win rather than allowing them to see them win with your program. Like I tell people this all the time, the no, I talk about knowing the no all the time, right? Know the no before you get it. One of the first no's that you get is, no, I don't K&W. It's hidden. But the no that you get when the customer needed it, they wanted it, they could afford it, but they still didn't buy it. And everybody says, well, wonder why they didn't call me back. And it's like, well, because the no you got was, no, I don't see myself being successful with you. I can get a tell off you. You're going to start dropping your price right away, whether or not you're a mature business or not. I can get a tell off you whether or not you have a documented process or procedure. Like I can make a decision within a few minutes whether or not that product is actually going to get me to success. And if you don't have any of those things, I'm out. And that's hey, I like your price. I like you. You seem like a great person. Tell you what, I'll call you back. Let us take some time to review this and we'll get back to you. They ain't going to call you back because you didn't have a program for their success. To your point, quality, right? If I'm not delivering quality, I'm going to be a commodity. Right? Mm-hmm. Like that's exactly where we're going to land. I'm going to be the Kmart shirt. And that's where I say, look, I enjoyed walking in as an MSP in my early days and dressed in a suit. And customers would always say, man, this looks expensive. And I said, damn right it is, but that's the cost of doing good business. And they're like, yeah, there's something to be said about that. And I said, you didn't take the meeting because you're getting good business. Like you're not satisfied. I don't even need to ask you, but let me walk you through what you need. And as we would go through that process to showing them their success, they would always decide to sign up with us. And why? It wasn't that we were cheaper. I was like, hey, look, let's just cut the shit. Like I'm minimum $1,500 a month. I'm at least $200 per seat. You got 10 users. We're $2,000 a month. Does that sound like we should be friends or should we continue to talk? Like one of two things will happen. We'll either do business or we're going to be friends. Pick one. Like you have to stand your ground at some point and say, and we do this now where I'm at now. I even tell my team, everyone, you ask anyone there, they say, how fast do you guys move? And they'll say the speed of quality, because that's what our partners need to deliver to their customer. And I can't negotiate that. That's not in the negotiation phase. So we have a minimum amount to deliver the quality that they need to build a business on, right? And it's important for us to be thinking about that as entrepreneurs. Like,
I'm gonna have to try that suit thing one day.
Dude, I'll tell you this right now. The day that I put that on, and I do this all the time, bro. And I know you always wear shorts and a flowered shirt, which works in California, but that just so you know, around the rest of the world.
He's lucky. He's got his own little fiefdom going on where he can look like a beach bum and go and just like crush it with MSP sales. We were doing the event in Anaheim. I'm there in a suit or whatever. I'm jacket, and all this kind of stuff. And we could not be more opposite. It was so funny.
I was at an event where Keith and me and him took a picture, and he's in a Hawaiian shirt with shorts. When you just get to a certain stature, you don't have to worry anymore. But I will say that in my early days, my team used to always wonder why I wore that. And, I'll give you this reason why. And even in everything, when you go in, right? I remember wearing a polo and walking into a customer site, and they'd always be like, oh, okay, cool, the computer guy's here to fix it. When I started putting a suit on, that was the last day they ever asked me to fix their computer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They asked me to fix their business, not their computer.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the moment which shifted their talk track at and I used to teach my team that. I was like, look, do me a favor. Let's just go get you a suit. Let's put this on you and let's see what happens. And they'd be like, they didn't ask me to get under the desk to fix the computer. And I said, I know.
Yeah.
Because you demanded respect that I'm not going to do that because I got a nice jacket on. Now I could, but I'm not. Right. And that's where to that.
And honestly, in a world where most of your competition are showing up in khakis and polo shirts, that is the get in the server room uniform, right? That's a get into the desk uniform. And so I think those things matter. You know, that's where, like, you know, what actually changed my paradigm on that was going to like places like Chartech.
Yeah.
And they were always very forward about like not just dress in a suit for most, like, you know, look the part, look like an actual consultant, but really read the room too, because there are situations and like where you will show up in a suit, and if it's like a ranch, some of the richest people in this country have ranches, right? But you might adjust a little bit, right? You might go flannel, you know, like you might, you know, have some nice jeans or whatever with your nice boots or whatever. Not my crowd, but like that's but it's like, yeah, like those you know, when you're going in for a more value-based relationship, like all these things matter about how, because you know, the brain, the way it puts up its defenses or processes things, most of it's nonverbal, right? It's like how you speak, it's when you follow up, it's how you look. Like, did you shave that month? You know,
Jeez, I've done everything wrong.
I know. It sounds like we're already just shitting on Keith.
There's nothing wrong with it.
But Keith has has a killer MSP. So, but we're talking about the rest of the world outside of, you know, Southern California, right?
You know, I'd like to get Juan's opinion on something that's kind of always I've thought about in the MSP industry. I think one of the things, you go to trade shows and you see a lot of MSPs worried about the lowest common denominator, agent cost, when they're pricing. And I think that's your mentality, not only when you buy, converts to when you sell.
Absolutely.
And the real issue is not how much it costs per agent, like what you're paying per RMM agent. The real thing is how much will that RMM or whatever save you in labor, because labor is the big cost. And I see people arguing back and forth over 50 cents an agent, $1 an agent, when you're going, no, what's more important is the vendor's responsiveness, the level of service, the value of what they're putting together. And I think we have to start at the buying to convert that to the selling. And since you're more of a sales expert than I'd like to hear your opinion on that.
I don't know that I'm a sales expert, but I am always, you know.
Well, you are now. Keith said you are, so go for it.
Yeah, I know. I do teach some sales classes that, you know, but, you know, one of the things that I enjoyed the most was teaching what I call the soft close technique, which was a process that closed itself. And, you know, I will give you this, right? People ask, how do you sell this? And I say, I don't sell anything. People buy what we do. And really what they're buying is the success. So I don't really care about the price of the tool, right? Like if that's the mechanics of the success is the outcome, right? Like for me, that's what really does it. Facilitating the best of breed and practice and tooling is what's the justification of the organization of what you're built upon. Just like right now with MSP as a service, like we're the world's first elastic service provider. Dude, you could get a little bit of Ninja, you could have a little bit of Kaseya, like you could have a little Hunter, you could have a little Sentinel-1. Like it doesn't matter what you have. That is not the value of the outcome. What the value is meeting the customer needs based on whatever the transformative aspect is. And in this case, we stitch to the CIS controls so that they can see a security pathway to compliance, right? And I think that on this part is, you know, so many MSPs have never actually taken time to build a business plan around their financial success. right? When I first started mine, like we actually built a 4-year plan. I outperformed it in 3. I knew where my exits were. Like I knew exactly what it was going to take to run the business because I sat down to understand the cost of labor, the cost of tools, how many customers I need to bring on, what's my qualified injection points for onboarding within the organization, what's my total cost of onboarding, what's my total cost of tools. Like there's a time to revenue perspective that people never really pay attention to. They think that the time we got a song.
Yeah.
Unstoppable. Time to revenue and time to profitability are 2 moments in time that we don't often measure, right? And so when we get the first dollar, it's not measured appropriately. And you said this once a long time ago, just because a vendor checks a box doesn't mean they put checks in your mailbox, right? Like, when do you actually make money? Because if you're going through a demo and a contract, and then you got to do the thing, you sign up for whatever you're going to sign up for, and then you got to go get a customer, and then you got to go do a thing, your time to revenue is way out here. But your time to profitability is until 12 months from now when that customer actually pays off that injection point. And, you know, you got all this labor expense. So people don't pay attention to those quantifiable time marks. And I think that, to your point, Keith, you know, we think that getting it cheaper is going to get us there faster. To be honest with you, you know what I realized when I was building my second IT company? It wasn't even about the MRR. Like that just was the sustainability. It was the projects that actually were the thing that made me the most money. And if I got my project revenue and my MRR, I actually eclipsed my MRR with my project revenue because I was making far more GP, gross profit, and I was walking away with tons of cash on that side of the house. Well, this one was my low margin, my loss leader. Like everyone thinks managed services and the MRR is the thing that keeps you alive. But to be honest, it's how you build. It's what you want to build, right? I moved past the commodity piece because that was 2015 to 2021. That was back then, right? And so I would say that, you know, getting the best price and value is important. Also realize that vendors, you're asking for them to do more for less. You're asking them to do the same thing your customers are asking you to do.
Yeah.
Right. And I would always tell my customers, no, I don't have a cheaper price because you want high quality service. But yet we're going to go and ask our vendors to do the same thing. Like, and then we bitch that we don't have good service. It's like, well, you pushed them down. Like they can't.
I love when they ask, like, well, is there any way to charge less? And it's like, sure. What would you like to remove out of the plan?
No, I want everything.
And just look at them right now. Like, yeah, just tell me right now. What do you? And if you do the sales pitch right, everything's indispensable. But you're like, yeah, no problem. I mean, yeah, I can just let me know what I need to remove, and we'll take that out. We'll take that out of the contract. And they're just like, you know.
And I would always tell them, look, here's a choice you have to make. There's doing business, there's doing good business, and then there's doing secure business. Which one of these do you want? Do you want to sleep well at night? Because if so, then you got to do secure business. Doing good business, you're probably going to be doubting whether or not you're going to get called, and you're probably going to be watching over your shoulder, wondering what's going to burn down. And then doing business is hoping that it works. That's not a business plan. I hope it works. That's the cheapest option. I have to deliver this because I need to let you sleep at night, and I want to sleep at night. Like your lack of ability to pay for things or desire to want to do it does not inject a liability for me, and I'm not going to consider that, right? And when you stop allowing customers to make the cheaper choice, to Keith's point, they'll start buying quality. Like when you make them aware of the difference between the two things, I now want to buy the fully loaded Silverado. I don't want a half-ton, base level Silverado with no tow package. I don't want that. I want the damn touchscreen and auto drive and lane awareness and backup camera. Like, I guess I'm going to pay for it, but you got to give me a good deal. That's why he bought 3, so he got better financing.
3 Silverados.
Get the combo. Well, so to that, so when you have people who are considering the MSP as a service model, what are some of the top kind of, because it is obviously a little bit more of a dark horse, right? What are some of the objections? What are some of the reservations that some MSPs have, big and small, that they typically have.
You know, we
Because there's a can of worms on every path.
yeah, you know, and it's interesting, right? There's been a lot of people that have done it bad and again done it cheaper. And you know, we've been overseas and all over and near shore and far shore and every different combination of opportunity. We're a US based knock sock and service desk, not a help desk, a service desk. So like we're technically tier 0 to done, as we call it. And we're weird because we call ourselves an elastic service provider. So we meet MSPs wherever their value is. So if they need a little service desk, they need a little knock, they need a little sock, they can get it here and they can pick whatever they want as part of that. So some of the objections are, and some of the interesting pieces, I'll give you some of my favorite moments. One of them was, you know, we had a private equity guy company that had bought an MSP, which I didn't actually think was going to be one of our biggest customers or a target ICP.
Mm-hmm.
And they came in and said, why are you better than us? And I said, well, because you don't have time to get good. Your thesis and according to your investment cycles don't allow you to take the time that it takes to get 30 years good. Even if you bought a 15 to 20-year-old MSP, the operational maturity still won't be at a level that this is at comparatively. If you have to still wait past, and you're going to probably be trying to hit an exit at 5 years, you just can't get this good that fast. And I said, and you don't have in the compression of time right now, you only have 3 to 4 years to get really good. So given all that, you just can't get good enough fast enough. Look, thankfully, I was right. They've now become one of our bigger customers and are shipping all their sites over to us, right? Because we do a good job. Some of the other MSPs, like the startup MSP, they're like, hey, man, can I get everything I need? And because we can terraform new worlds, they can have their RMM, their PSA, and all their tool stack and everything right now. They can just go to market. So the compression of time is day one and profitability is day one. So yeah, that's always an interesting point. But then there's the folks that are like already have an MSP, like the 1 to 5, and they're like, hey, man, let me try a customer or two. Like, I don't really know if this is going to work. And
well, those are the ones that are very white glove. That's where I come from, right? They're very white glove. They're like handing literally like what they consider probably 80 to 90% of their operations over to this like other house.
Yeah.
They're like, but like, that's how they value themselves. They're like, but like everyone, like, Debbie at the front desk at this place and John at the world, because that there is a lot more relationship there. Yeah. Usually, if they're 1 to 5, they've been around for a while. And so that's what I'm thinking. Like, that's where I wonder if that's maybe a category of prospect that you have to kind of work the hardest on, because the ones who are scaling are like, let's go, right? Because they don't care about that as much.
Yeah.
They're focused on building an empire. A 1 to 5 is very much a lifestyle, local neighborhood MSP that really kind of knows everybody.
Yeah, and that's where we add the value there too. It takes them a minute to adopt it because now they have a bigger team. I think I see the bigger smiles on those folks just because, they're like, dang, this is actually a lot easier than it's been for me in a long time. Like, it's kind of nice to just grab and go. Like,
yeah,
it could be this easy. Like, I'm used to like touching everything. So they have like a little,
yeah,
like there is a separation anxiety for a little bit. Like you said,
that's
like
what I'm saying.
The 5
like
to 10 million.
That handover in their, I'm saying, like that's the. I'm saying, like, I'm even just thinking back to when we considered it at my last MSP. Those were weird humps to try to get over, and I don't know. Yeah.
And then if you injected the reality of having overseas resources or somebody that's like, this is why it's so important that we're US based.
Yeah.
And in the United States, like there is no foreign language techniques here, right? Like there's not first language, like it is US based people that live in the United States. That doesn't seem like a big deal up until you try it, right? And then you're like, you see people use, near shore, far shore. I did it. It sucked, right? And it was like, dude, my customers were like, bro, what are you doing? Like,
yeah.
And so, not to say that there's anything wrong with that. It's just right now, it ain't the right time for that. Like everyone's like, hey, look, I need to be able to get this done now. I need to communicate clearly. So it is interesting. So what they'll do is they'll bring on a customer, like a new customer, which they don't have a relationship with, and they'll test them on us first. And then they're like, hey, even the big guys, dude, the big guys will drop like 100 to 200 seats on us. They're like, hey, we can't do this, but we're going to just throw this bomb on you and see what happens. And it works. And then they're like, dude, that customer's excited and happy. Like, let's try another one. And so they'll try 2 or 3 and then they start migrating over. And then the money, like, people add about 40 to 50% margin on top of us. Like, dude, it's so hard not to see that. Like, we got one-man shops that are doing like 70, 80,000 a month in less than 90 days. Like, the interesting part about that is now I have to coach them on what to do with their money, because now they have so much money. They're like, what do I do with $30,000 a month, Juan? And I'm like, okay, so first of all, don't go blow that at the bar, dude. Like
you mean they shifted their margin, or they actually scaled that fast?
Yeah, they're moving that fast, and they're actually have, like, because if they mark us up 50 points, the guy's doing 60 grand a month. Like, he's got 30,000 a month in his pocket that he didn't have before, and he don't got staff to pay. So
yeah.
He's like, what do I do? And I'm like, I didn't see that as an output as fast as you moved, just so you know. Like, I knew I was doing it, but I just didn't realize you were going to do it that fast. So we have a lot of those where I talk about rebuilding the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and we got probably a little north of like 12 or 13 new MSPs that just have fired up and are moving quick. And it's just cool to watch, So it's fun. And again, to your point, it is fun to watch the folks that have already been on a journey and like have to like pick whether or not they want to take that left-hand turn.
And they might be sitting on this. So what did I guess to the next step from there, what if there is sort of this white glove staff that, you got 7, 8, 9 techs who, what are they, like what is the shift there? I mean, are they, are they making hard decisions? Are they like repositioning them because now you have like the brakes are off, right? Now you can add, some MSP owners are a little bit, they don't want to grow that fast, right? They see that as a way of, it breaks the system.
Yeah.
Right. But, if you do that, you obviously know that you're getting into that. And now you're like, wow, well, now we can just like add crazy sales, or maybe all those techs, now they can do projects. And I tell you what, I guarantee if I'm speaking for techs, they would much rather be working on projects than repeated MRR type services, right? Because it's exciting.
Bro, I started at the freaking help desk. I say this to my team all the time. Look, I started at AOL at the help desk. Do you know where I'm not today? At the freaking help desk. Like, let's not pretend like that's where we want to be. And I always tell people like, hey, what do you want to do? Like, what's your career path? Like, where do you want to go? And they're like, I love the help desk. And I'm like, bullshit. No, you don't. Like, I didn't either. I thought I loved it until I hated it. Like,
well, the one best thing about the help desk, I will say, is that you are like everyone's hero all day. So emotionally, there's a lot of pump to your ego, because everyone's just like, oh my God, and all you did was tell them to reboot it.
Yeah.
But as I think really like most technical people are in search of like wonder and thrill.
Yeah.
The next problem, fixing problems. Yeah.
And that's where I see a lot of folks, right? And it's two places, because there you have technical people that are there in that middle section, and you got like kind of the management layer that's kind of overseeing it. And you're watching those folks, and I'll give you a good question that I use, and I tell this to people all the time. What do you do when what you do isn't what you do anymore? Just stop for a second and think about that, because regardless if you do this or you wait for the future, which is automatic, AI is on the rise and we all see it coming, right? Can't tell you how many AI ticket remediation tools pass by my investor desk, right? Like every other day, I'm like, there's like 5 or 6 of them. I'm just like, who asked for that? I don't know who asked for those, but they're here. Anyway, I digress. But I will say that regardless of which direction we're headed, we have to make a choice now. And again, back to the commodity or the value. Do we become the commodity or do we become the value? Like, this is a choice we have to make. As a person, we need to be thinking about how we move from this managed era into this modern era. And the employees too. Like, and then folks that we coach through this moment, we tell them, hey, look, move your people you guys may or may not know, but I also bought some MSPs. So I'm not just speaking from a point of recommendation. I did it. Like, I legitimately acquired some MSPs, stripped them down to the studs. They no longer do any of this stuff anymore. Like, those techs and those staff are now working on interlaces with customer relationship. They're working on, all of the strategic ports of business. Like, they're not doing the noise anymore. They're managing a little bit of the noise because every once in a while something pops up. But for the most part, they moved on to other things and they're way happier. I'm watching the teams go get certified. I'm watching them start, going down the AI paths where they're now talking with customers about those things. They're doing live webinars. They're interacting with the customers more. It's just, it's a shift in the mindset, right? And that's why I did what I did, so that I could create what I call experience centers, so that people could go and look and see, like, what does this actually look like in a $1 to $5 million MSP? And I'm like, welcome to the new house. Look at this. Here, come on in, check it out. It's got smart lights in house, and it's got automatic heating and warm floors, and
funny, you guys, I don't think I do my business right. I do the help desk. I do it for a lot of reasons. First of all, I really dig my customers. I really like the longshoremen, and I'll go down to the hall and do printer repair. The second thing is I get a real pulse on how we're doing. And,
That's true.
And it's probably the best way to know of new projects and new deployments coming out. Is you're in the field, and the other thing is I like to show the people that work with us is there's nothing below me, there's nothing below you, right? Amen. Our job is not to fix printers and fix computers. Our job is to make, and one example, to make sure longshoremen are dispatched to the ports on time and containers move. The other part's boring. That's like the wizard behind the curtain. At our hotels, it's like our job is to have cycling at the front desk. You're a business traveler, Juan. They say if you have to wait more than 5 minutes for your room, you're already upset. So our job is to make sure we meet those goals. And the best way to do it is to do somewhat, for me, because I'm remedial, I'm not like you guys, is to stand there at the hotel front desk and make sure that what we think makes it more efficient for the person with their hand on the keys, and to give them confidence in our system to let us know we physically stand behind what we put in.
As you should.
So, 90% of making a system work when you're doing some business process engineering and re-engineering is the end user's confidence in that system. And I think that helps, does it?
I don't disagree with that one bit. I think there is a level, and again, what I mentioned earlier was our position is we meet the customer MSP where their value is, right? We support until that point where that moment is what the thing is that they want to do. And to your point, Keith, for many, they're not dialed into that moment because some of the inputs are some of your outputs, right? On many of the others and other ICPs, customers are at a different variance, right? And so for your specificality, it works. And I would say that for all that, the patching and remediation and all that other stuff is probably not the favorite thing to do, right? And that's where
I kind of said, that's the stuff I'll turn away.
There you go. See, and that's where we go in the back and we're the ones doing that part.
You know what? The bottom line is, and I hate to sound, no one cares except us.
That's correct.
Until it's not done correctly. But if you were to sit there and call one of your customers and says, I patched 30 of your machines last night, they'd go, so what?
Oh, like whoop-de-doo, man. It's like you see that meme a lot. You see like the customer and the IT guy, they're like, what do we pay you all for every month? We never call you. Yeah. And then and then they're like, oh, it's why do we even call you? It's like it's not working today. I don't know.
Yeah, we just call you when it doesn't work. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. But if we didn't do what we do every night, it would never work every day, just so you're aware. And they're like, oh, that is a catch-22. So I can't just call you whenever, it's like I'm not an Advil, right? Like I'm an ongoing prescription. Like you just can't go grab it when you need it. Like it's funny.
Luckily, I gotta say that mindset has pretty much gone away. I'm
Thank God.
Finally, I can tell. Like that used to be just always just like a tumor on our
That's
whole
why I
industry.
believe in the proactive FaceTime. And I'll close with that because Juan's here with the hook to tell us to be quiet. But that's why I believe in the proactive FaceTime.
And this is where your value is, though, Keith. You just said it. Like when you get in front of that customer and you're giving them all the telemetry, and again, that's what we're doing is allowing our customers to go and do that. Because a lot of them don't have a good operational back end, Keith. Like
that's always put on the back burner, right? Because they're the tickets are always more important or whatever, right? The fires you got to put out, and if you could fill your calendar with FaceTime, I mean that's where the scaling and the compounding just get crazy.
And I'm glad that we all agree here, and that's really what my passion is to try to help everyone get to that next level and that manage to modern conversation and moving into the future, man. Like that's why I came back again to do it, is to help. And again, you guys are doing a great job, but we're always here to help anybody that needs it.
And you've always been a huge asset to the industry. That's why you're a legend.
I don't know about that. All I know is I go through a lot of the heartache and pain to try to tell everybody, hey, watch out for that dark corner. Like, hey, look, let me show you, like, here's where I've seen this, like, be careful here. And this is what we got to keep doing. The open mic. I love that, you guys. Like, let's keep sharing. Like, this is a weird new time for everybody. And we need to keep talking, especially about how we're going to be interlacing AI. Like, we got to keep these topics on the tip of our tongue and stop pretending like anybody here has any secret sauce. Like, you don't. If somebody else could vibe code something, everyone else can do it. Like, let's all focus on the value that we're creating as an industry, and let's try to put that out, man. Let's see if we can help there.
And the amount you give back, and we didn't get to get into that in this short hour, but I think that I always like to say that we're in such a profitable, successful industry. Remember to give back to your community, because that's important.
There's two things in life. You either come to serve the community or you come to be served. The choice is made. And I appreciate that all of you serve with all of your hearts. And I'm honored to be in the circle.
Awesome.
Right.
All right.
Are you going to kick us out of here, bro?
We're almost on time.
The Godfather won.
That's my role here, to keep everybody on time. I was listening, and all the great insight and expertise that all three of you actually brought to this conversations, as entrepreneurs, and providing all the insights to the industry there from Juan. So Juan, how, if somebody wants to learn more about all the things that you're doing, how they can get in contact with you?
My calendar is always open on LinkedIn. You can come to my LinkedIn. Just jump over LinkedIn. Oh, look, you got my link there, 1JF. And come over and just grab some time. I'm always open to have a conversation. If anybody needs any help, I have a lot of resources that I've created over the years that I'm happy to share, like customer journey maps and stuff like that. Also, if you want to take a look at the website, msp-aas.com, MSP as a service. Come over and take a look at what we built. It's fun and exciting. If you're a tech geek, you'll appreciate the architecture and the complexity around all the things that we do. But we're all here to serve the managed services industry and all of our partners. So if you guys want to know what it could look like on that side, give me a ring, and happy to walk you through it. And, maybe you got a stinky customer that you can't land and you need some help and you want to make some money, give me a ring and I'll help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to learn more about that customer journey, that is in our YouTube. That is out there recorded. So if you want to learn more about that, just go ahead and check it out and reach out to Juan, and he'll share more about that.
Happy to share, you guys. And again, thanks for having me, guys. This was awesome.
Yeah.
No, good stuff.
We can, yeah, I'm sure I can stay on backstage and we can talk here for hours. But if you want to talk more, just join the community, join our open mics, join meetings like this. Hopefully we can see you over in Chicago, over in Blue Ridge, September 17th. And if you're on the West Coast, over in Anaheim, that will be October 8th. So happy to host you and continue all of these great conversations. And don't forget to join our Facebook so we can continue that conversation over there, because our Facebook group is there for that as well, for all the questions, all the comments. So reach out to Juan. I'm going to put your LinkedIn in there one more time so they can reach out to you. And it's always a pleasure talking to you. And thank you for being here, Keith, Aaron. Thank you for the conversation. This was awesome. This was great.
Keep it going, guys. Like I say, for everyone that's out there, let's not lose sight of what's important here in building the community. It's going to take all of us to get through this, and I really appreciate your guys' effort and everyone that's joined us. And we got a lot more work to do, but it's an honor. That's
all right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All righty. See you.